Alright, guys, welcome to StreamCast Super Cursed number 13 edition. And I know it's been a long time since I put out any content. I think the last thing that I put out was the Glock upgrades video. I actually had a video on the top pistol caliber carbines to SBR, pistol caliber or large format pistols, basically pseudo subguns, and I didn't have a chance to actually cut the video. I have all of the footage actually filmed, just need to edit together everything else. I was under an enormous time crunch and a lot of personal things going on. But what's important is I'm here now, still alive. I never clicked the link to download the lost emails from Clinton, so I have not yet been whacked. So yes, that's right, fresh Fowler. It is a straight up Corona party. Yeah, sure, there are bodies stacked up in like a circle around the structure right now, but deep inside the Burst Review bunker or the Burst in Bunker, that's German, I'm pretty sure. Uh, Everything is chill. It's relaxed. It may, in fact, even be chillax. Um, as far as the MCX Vertus, so a lot of giveaways happen on ammoland.com, the guys that I work for now. And if you guys want to be able to get those guns, you're going to have to go over to ammoland.com and sign up for their newsletter. Now, they do new ones about every month, and they have some really badass giveaways. Like I was like actually surprised, and unlike a lot of guys or a lot of companies or groups or media groups that get these companies to donate them, the MCX that we're giving away, we actually bought. And I saw the invoice, they paid full price for it. Oof. Uh, I'm gonna need way more hats, dude. This is a an Arc'teryx hat, so it proves that I'm an operator who operates operationally on operations. Uh, very nice hat. I cannot believe how expensive they are. I actually didn't buy them to be like, oh man, Gucci hat that cool guys wear. The like the off-white tannish one you guys have seen me wear that has holes in it. It's all nasty and stuff. I got at the SIG Academy when I was there with Guns.com when I was doing the story on the MPX and everything else. And TSA lost, stole, destroyed. I don't know. They somehow misplaced. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt because TSA is a straight up organization. They mandatory carry. Hold on, I'll get to that. Uh, the only hat I could find at the SIG Pro shop that fit me was that Arc'teryx one, and I had no idea what it was until like years later when people were like, "Bro, where'd you get that super rare Arc'teryx hat?" And I was like, "Oh, I got it at like a training place in SIG." Oh yeah, dude, all the hats in the back. I have a ton of hacks. Yes, I hacks the internet. Hats back there. They get given to me all the time at events. I tend to give them all away, and my good buddy Will has been giving them out to subscribers over at the Discord. Very cool stuff. So mandatory carry. Iran created the coronavirus to frame China. Fight me. I'm going to say the reason that the virus got loose from the Wuhan virus laboratory, and I've been saying this for a long time. I think I even put in one of the little community posts a while back, and someone's like, "Whoa, I expect better from this channel than to spout BS like that." And I was like, "Yeah." Why? What I think actually caused the outbreak, right, is the fact that China has a long history of playing it fast and loose when it comes to like security or containment or just human rights. um, it's roughneck. It's actually not Scotch. If this was Scotch, I would be a dead man. This is a ton if it were Scotch. This is I believe it's just straight up black iced tea my wife brewed for me. I don't know if you guys can get the let's see if I can get the resolution on there. It's an FN glass beer glass I got at SHOT Show one year that I'm not ashamed to admit that I went through the line twice to get a second one because I wanted a pair of these glasses, obviously. But yeah, see if I had to guess, yes, coronavirus is straight up a bioweapon, right? Was it intentionally released? Initially, I don't think so. This is actually a tinfoil Arc'teryx hat, so you'll allow me to leave it on while I spout some absolute bullshit. But I feel like probably it was not intentionally released, and then when it started to infect China, China was like, oh crap, we can't be the only people to get absolutely railed by this. Uh, Whoops, it got out. And because here's the thing, right? So I was at SHOT Show, like so many people, and for those of you not in the know, SHOT Show took place in the middle of Chinese New Year, or at least the celebrations that they hold uh, about New Year's, right, or Chinese New Year's, and we were surrounded by Chinese people, and like during all the festivity and everything else, and I didn't see a lot of masks. At least no more than you would normally see from like Asian countries or whatever. And yeah, like I didn't get sick. My wife got sick, not like end of the world sick, but a good buddy of mine, Jeremy, over at International Sportsman, which if you guys are not familiar with that website, those guys are awesome. They know all kinds of stuff about like international hunting, international like firearms laws. I can't even scratch the surface on. But Jeremy over there, Jeremy Mallet, very knowledgeable guy, very talented guy. Uh, he got like straight up pneumonia. And now they're saying that COVID-19 slash coronavirus slash Wuhan flu slash Kung flu, that's my favorite one, has pneumonia like symptoms. So I don't know if he got it, and then because he was down for the count for a while, like he was straight up wrecked. Before I continue my rant, thank you, Fit and Fire. You are the man. $9.99. Hell yeah, I could buy a new hat. Here, Wish.com, here I come. I'm gonna get me a Batman hat from Wish.com. Um, but yeah, WOF Hornet. If China didn't play it fast and loose with everything, we wouldn't have so many live streak highlight videos. Dude, you're not wrong. Dude, the fact that China was like, yeah, we don't have any more cases, none, zero, amazing. Like if somebody didn't immediately go, what? And the fact that all the mainstream media was like, oh yeah, totally legit, 100% believe them. Wow, America, why can't you be like China? And I was like, all right, there are two possibilities as to why China has zero new cases. The first one, they're lying. That's pretty easy. Second one, they're killing and cremating anyone who shows symptoms. That would put a very hard stop on the spread of a virus. Is that what's actually happening? There's a lot of videos of those what's it called, mobile crematoriums that are circulating around the internet. You know, are they real? It's an awfully elaborate hoax if they're not. What is it? Occam's razor, the most realistic or most plausible explanation is usually the correct one. So either somebody with amazing what do they call it, deep fake skills managed to make that whole thing look like it was actually happening, or they're actually just burning bodies, which I'd say. Vladimir Putin says that his next tool will be an AK-47. Wrong, it'll be an AKM because stamped is love, stamped is life. Fit and Fire, totes am sure I had the Rona in February. I believe it, but thankfully, by sheer will and the amount of patriotism that's in Fit and Fire, I want to call him Fit and Fury, and I'll get to that in a second. The amount of just sheer patriotism fended off the worst of it. Like the little bat-shaped viri, whatever the hell, were trying to penetrate his system, no homo. And what he did is he said, "No, damn it, I love America too much to die." Boom, eradicated every single one of the cells. It was miraculous, like a true panacea, instantly gone. So really, if you're sick right now, you should love America a little bit more. I mean, how else is Trump not sick, right? Okay, frankly, nobody loves America as much as I do. Fuck, dude. Um, Thank you so much, Roughneck MP. I'm gonna guess that you are a Marine, hoorah, and military police, which is double pain in the ass. I feel for you. Marines are not the easiest folks to corral. But let me check out what he said. Ralphie May, God rest his funny soul, warned us about getting sick from the Chinese. Watch his bit about the Denver airport and get ready to laugh. I definitely will have to for sure. Uh, So my wife's part Chinese, and I know for a fact when I've been at some of the Chinese markets with her, there is some very sketchy looking stuff to be consumed, if you will. The market's there. It almost feels like it's like a Darwinian test of survival. Yeah, you gonna eat that? And you're like, oh, bro, I don't know if that's actually edible or something out of Resident Evil. I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, 7 days from Fit and Fire got absolutely wrecked. Which, by the way, Fit and Fury, if he gets 100,000 subs tonight, he'll legally change his name to Fit and Fury. It's a true story, 100%. You can completely believe me. I would never lie on live stream, never ever, not even once, not even then. No. uh, we go back up to the comments up top. Yeah, a bunch of people definitely are absolutely getting wrecked. I will say that like what Kowlen was saying up there, when new gunners realize that there are gun laws in the U.S., they're gonna be pretty pissed. Agreed. I've seen a huge wave of people that have contacted me either via my AmmoLand address or just in the comment section in general in some of the AmmoLand political articles that were just astonished that we have such stringent gun laws that we have. I mean, there's this misnomer, not even misnomer, misinterpretation or whatever, that we have America has like super lax gun laws everywhere. That you can basically walk into a gun shop and be like, "I'll take one gun, please," and they're like, "Yes, sir, right away. Would you like some baby slaying bullets with that? Sure. Give me a double clipazine." Like, it is a far cry from that. Uh, I know I had a photo on one of these what's it called, on one of the community tabs where I had a picture of one of my Glocks with a couple of stamps on it in my mailbox, and I was reaching for it, and I was like, American gun laws, hell yeah, which obviously was me, being obnoxious, and it actually got deleted. Among a lot, God, a lot of my freaking community tab stuff gets deleted when it's fairly mild. I mean, I'm not in there being, saying some truly abhorrent stuff. No, like quite the contrary. Yeah, the other memes a little bit spicy, yeah, a little bit, but they're not bad. Oh, I'll get another sip of this 1,000% alcohol, meaning just tea. Let's see. Auto Rain. Question: I'm new to the AR game and I'm wanting to change my handguard and gas block to a low profile. Can both these be shipped to my house at FFL? Yes. Yeah. The only part of your gun that's considered a gun in the eyes of the ATF or the BATFE, I think they call themselves now, which is just ridiculous, is the low receiver. Anything else is just fair game. So yeah. Well, other than a suppressor, which is considered a firearm, even that makes no sense. It's an NFA regulated item. Anything on the NFA is considered a firearm in the eyes of the ATF. But yeah, if you've got a standard gas block right now with like the sight tower, everything else, if you don't want to go to the trouble of knocking out the pins for a low profile one, you can. And there's a lot of guides on how to do it. You can take an angle grinder and just chop it, and then kind of file the sharp edges off it. I've done that before in the past when times were tight, especially like I was in college and I was like sure as hell not going to buy, well, at the time, the only thing they had available were like the Yankee Hill machine ones, which were like ridiculously expensive. But yeah, Roblox. I'm not commenting on that server. It doesn't exist. Let's see. Vets have anthrax and smallpox vaccinations and 50 types of toxic waste deposits. Corona needs a vaccine from us. Love it. Love it. Is my wife from China? No, she is from Boston, and her mom is actually from Vietnam, but is Chinese. And due to the fact that her family aided and abetted the U.S. soldiers, and I believe she had family members that were in the ARVN, or like not direct, but like uncles and stuff like that served in the ARVN. When Saigon fell, they all had to get out with a quickness because they were numero uno on the Marie Antoinette style execution list, but far less romantic and a lot more AK fire to the back. Big Venus saying we should ban AR-15s. Very insightful. Thanks for the comment. Mandatory Fit and Fire, also known as Fit and Fury, on the streets of Compton, where he's from, said he absolutely would. That's de facto proof. Change his name. That's amazing. Let's see. Only the best baby slayers. Thank you, Greg. The anti-gunners prey on the misinformed. 100% true. And yeah, it's ridiculous. The amount of times where I've seen people just spout utter BS about guns in general, which I was thinking about. We should totally make a video on like the dumbest like old school late 90s, early 2000s rumors you guys heard about guns back in the day from people who didn't know anything about them. Because, I mean, there was always like that one guy who's like, yeah, man, my brother was in the army and he had like 10,000 confirmed kills with an e-tool. And they'll tell you this stuff that's just like, you're just like, what the, what? They're like, yeah, man, like you can't shoot people with 50 cal. It's against the Geneva Convention. So are hollow points. And I was like, the Hague Convention, and no, but yeah, it's there's a lot. There's even better ones like oh god, what is it about like 5.56 ammo? Same with not 7.62, 7 and 6, so 5.45, 39 ammo. The original 7 and 6 stuff would enter somebody and then explode, and that's why the Mujahideen called it the poison bullet, not for the fact that it probably was just destabilized and tended to tumble upon impact. Hell yeah, Big Venus, the 1,000 round clipazines. Can we trade Antifa for roof Koreans and the based Vietnamese boys? Sadly, not. I think we got no refunds on that after the riots. What am I going to spend my Trump bucks on? Probably my child. So if you guys haven't figured it out yet, wife and I are having a baby. Our baby is due. Basically in anywhere between like 2 weeks and 4 weeks. So he should be here in about 1 month, but those things can kind of be there's there's like an area of effect. You're never 100% precise on when the kid's going to arrive. And thank you, No Name. And yeah, he's going to wear the illustrious title of Jim as well. He will have the exact same name as his father, only he will be the fourth. I'm actually naming him not after myself, but after my grandfather, who was a World War II veteran and like a complete badass slash hero. And my wife said he smiles like a dingus, which I would say is a little bit correct. He's very fresh off the boat Irish. My grandfather, like blazing red hair, freckles, and like had the Joker ear to ear grin and stuff. Pretty base dude, I gotta say. Uh, but yeah, he was part of an anti tank unit in the army. It's pretty badass. Nickname probably be Burst. I see. That's the thing. Like, so my brother is named after my dad, and they're both named Rick. And so, like, as a kid, my brother was Ricky, and then and when he's an adult and has like he works at like a corporation, he's Richard. Kind of like how we had a friend. It was actually his like best friend growing up, whose name was Billy. And his last name started with a D, and so Billy's nickname growing up was Bildo. And what's funny is he now owns like a Michelin-starred restaurant, and he's Chef William, which that kills me every time. Because I'm like, and they're like, we went to the restaurant, and they're like, oh, we're like, oh yeah, is Bildo here? Billy? And they're like, who? Oh, the chef. Oh, do you mean William? I'm like, yeah, that's what I meant. But yeah, so 262 there, fire. Funny story. My mom is awful with keeping my brother and my name straight. She'd always correct herself immediately, but she'd go Rick, I mean James, to the point where she'd be like Rick James, and if, of course my brother and I would be like Rick James, being as incredibly pale white as we both are. Very funny to us. But if I don't spend that money on my soon to be heir to the Burst Review fortune and lands and countless other valuables that are non-existent, I have been like craving the hell out of a M1014 or a Benelli M4. Oh my god, that shotgun! Molto bene. Golly, it's one of those guns where like you can talk yourself out of stuff when you can't afford it. You're like, yeah, I don't, whatever. I mean, Geisley, whatever. It's this mil spec New York trigger. It's like 14 and a half pounds, 3-stage somehow. It's just as good, and you can get used to it, right? And which is to say, you can definitely make do, right? But there is a tangible difference between the two, obviously. And so, but you talk yourself out of it because it's like the opposite of the gambler's fallacy, where like you get so invested in something, the sunken cost fallacy, excuse me, where you're like yeah, I've put so much time in this now that it's gonna be worth it eventually. It's gonna be worth it. It never ends up being actually worth it, but you that feeling that attachment to it. But for me on the Benellis, to be honest, before today, I had never shot a Benelli of any variety, ever. That's not true. I shot the I forget the name of it. There's a target pistol, a 22 Benelli, that is like very very nice. Uh, but that's actually it belonged to a guy that I had beaten in a NRA pistol bullseye match with a stock Ruger Mark III with I think it was a Tasco red dot. It was the only thing I could afford from Walmart at the time because I really 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 wanted to get into competition shooting, and that was all that was available in Massachusetts at the time. And I learned that practice will always beat mechanical performance to an extent. You can definitely make up the difference. I mean, if any of you guys have ever gone to a 3-gun match and you've seen the guy that's like he's kitted out in the most Gucci everything. He's got Night Force. He's got like the nicest gun. Maybe he's got a I don't know. People say Warfighter's good. I don't know. Or War something or other. Something that's like ridiculously expensive from California, or or whatever. And you see him run the match, and he is just awful. Like his hammered pairs are 3 seconds apart. He's just terrible. He can't hit a human sized silhouette past 150 meters. With like a 14 times optic and like a 24-inch barrel. That's like a match grade spiral fluted. He's got like $3 a bullet match rounds. Everything is perfect. The gun should be like quarter MOA. Can't make the shots. That happens, right? You can. It's very difficult to like buy yourself into a different skill level. Very difficult. Now I think that like the time to spend money on equipment is when you've hit like the upper 10-15% performance wise of where you can possibly get with your current gear. Like when you feel like your gear is holding you back, that's when you upgrade. You shouldn't be like, man, I want to get the 3-gun. I'm gonna buy the nicest stuff possible. I mean, you can't if you have the money, whatever. If that's your thing. But I think you're much better served if you figure out your personal strengths, your personal weaknesses, train, get to the point where you're starting to become competitive. Maybe you even placing in the top 25, 50 of like a 200-man match, and you're like, wow, if I went from, and don't get me wrong, PSA makes fine stuff, but if I went from this bar stock PSA Anderson, AR build that I put together in my garage with super glue and a hell of a lot of wrist strength, and maybe I could get a little more performance out of it. Then yeah, absolutely, you're gonna see that jump for sure. Let me jump back to the comments for 1 second. Hey guys, Nick Shen here. Who wants to learn about night vision? Thanks, Will. Real talk though, Nick Shen knows an obnoxious amount about night vision. I think his Instagram is like Soul Scud 007, something like that. I don't even know where it came from, but very knowledgeable guy, really really good dude. If you're ever in the area in California where he's at, or you see him at a match and you ask him a question about something, he's not gonna be like, "Who the hell are you? I'm Nick fucking Shen," and slap you with a Wuhan chop and then turn around and leave. No, he's gonna he's gonna help you out and show you the ropes and everything else. He's a very very good dude, and I've known him for God 8 years now. God, I'm old. Um, get an AK import marked Benelli for the double flex, dude. You're not wrong. That gun is oh, it's just so good. Let's see. Let me scroll up a little bit. I want my name. I want to name my AR Rick James because the government can't touch this. Nice, nice. I like it. Spicy. 10 out of 10. Would get my dog shot again. Son of Jim, heir to the M16. I like it, Greg. Very nice. Yeah, it's unfortunately M16 is not mine. It's my buddy Lee, which all I think of is Buddy Lee. I think it's the guitarist from. Oh, it's gonna kill me. I can't think of the band, but yeah, no, he's a good dude. Chopper pilot, hard ass dude, friggin' really cool guy. But yeah, I'm on his God English words. I'm on his trust so that I'm able to basically have possession of his guns and whatnot. Before the ATF cucked us and made it so that you can't really do trust anymore without getting fingerprints for everybody involved for every item added. Let's see. Thoughts on the? Oh no, not again. Not today, Satan. What's the worst gun you ever shot? Oof. Oof. So it's kind of a toss up, right? So when I first got a gun license in Massachusetts, they have a really asinine, really obnoxious. It's a de facto ban on firearms, more or less. But to get your handgun license there, to get a gun license at all, you have to actually pass an accuracy test, much in the same way a lot of places will do for a concealed carry permit. But theirs is for like everything, or it was when I was there last. And because Massachusetts laws are insane, I couldn't handle a firearm until I had a firearm license. So the first time I ever shot a gun other than like an Olympic and shoots a target gun at a triathlon thing I went to, because my dad won a door prize at a fundraiser for the Winter Olympics in the 90s. Different story, but was a Glock. I think it's a 23. It might have been 20. No, 26. The 40 caliber subcompact, and that thing kicked my ass. Like I could, like it like made me flinch so hard. Yeah, I'd never shot a gun before. We're at an indoor range. They've got me in the last lane, right? And on the left side of the lane is a concrete, barrier. On the right side is a thick wall that has a couple of bullet holes from idiots shooting the wall and stuff. And my instructor's on the right side of me, slightly behind me, and I'm close to the concrete wall. So every time I touch off a round, I'm getting the reverb off the thing, and I've got these crappy foamies in, and it's like boom, woo, every single trigger pull, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh, this is brutal. Uh, God, I mean, I never shot the target holder, so I think that was a win. And the guy was like, well, oh no, let me try something else with you. Hands me a Model 10, Smith & Wesson with 38s in it. Lets me cock the hammer between shots, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I am nailing that target. I'm in the A ring every time. I was like, oh wow, revolvers are so easy to shoot. Because like I said, I didn't know anything, and nobody in my family shot guns. Nobody owned firearms, and so for me, it was just a totally new experience. I didn't realize that. Oh, actually, this thing is this easy to shoot because A, it's a full size gun, and B, it's in a very mild caliber 38. And I've also got a very nice trigger on. I think it was like a 3.5 pound, 4 pound single action trigger, going from the mass compliant like 9.5 pound trigger on that stupid Glock. And I was like, oh man, I'm like a deadeye, like a sniper, like shooting a target at like, I want to say I was at like 20 feet, 30 feet, nothing, like very close. But let me jump down to Ready or Not. Are you still shooting your T91? I think they make a Gen 2 with some modern updates, like Philip sights. Ooh, I did not know that, and I have been. Yeah, I've actually got 3 uppers of the T91. I've got the full size 16-inch. I've got a mid-size 14-inch, at least 14.5-inch, that I was planning on pinning and welding a Silencer Co. ASR flash hider on, so I could put my suppressor on there whenever I wanted to. And then I've got a 12.5-inch that I've got on a pistol that I've actually put on a friend of mine's department issue M4. I'm not going to tell you which department because I'm pretty sure he's not allowed to do that. But we were firing that, and that thing runs awesome in full auto, even the 12.5-inch barrel. What I learned from the guys importing them is that they tried to chamber them at one point in 300 blackout. And for whatever reason, the system didn't like it. It required almost like a complete redesign. And if any of you guys have ever taken the handguards off the T91, but the internals are actually, they're pretty complex, surprisingly so. They work, and from what I can tell, they're not terribly delicate, but they're not like, it's not like a piston system, like your standard long stroke AK or Galil pistol system, or piston system, excuse me, where you could just simply either add more or enlarge the gas port, or simply add fewer or more self-regulating holes on the gas tube itself. And apologies if I'm hitting the mic. I'm not used to wearing this thing as much anymore. Let's see. Cowlen, in your opinion, would you prefer a direct impingement internal piston or an external piston AR? I'm not familiar with an external piston AR. I think DI guns are really good, and I think a lot of people underplay all the benefits of a direct impingement system. You got the lightweight, the increased inherent accuracy, the linear layout of the rifle. DI works. A lot of people don't think it works because they've had bad experiences with either guns that had like match grade or match grade ish chambers, and or they're combining that with like really crappy Wolf ammo. Which, don't get me wrong, Wolf 7.6239, awesome. Wolf's 7.62 54R, awesome. I think their 9x39 supposed to be pretty good too. I haven't shot it yet. Their Grendel ammo I think is pretty decent as well. But the 223 is just a little bit underpowered, enough so that you get some issues. And if you actually fire like a select fire weapon with wolf ammo, you can actually hear the load difference because the cyclic rate is based upon, at least partially, the strength of the charge in the round, and so you'll actually hear your rate of fire. Well, let me take a step back. Any automatic weapon other than like a belt fed, and even a belt fed to an extent, you're going to hear variances in the rate of fire. It's just the way that the system works. As it heats up, it's gonna cycle faster, right? The thing with wolf ammo is the cyclic rate goes up and down, like almost seemingly at random. You're like like it's all over the place. One really underestimated aspect of some wolf ammo that I really like. So wolf 45 ammo is so freaking good for suppressor use. I don't know if it's because it's a little underloaded or what, but I had it in my buddy's Glock 21 and an Osprey 45 from Silencer Co. And the combination is like dummy quiet. And if you add ablative, like like foam or whatever, to the suppressor, even more so. What I trusted is like a home defense round. No, I think wolf ammo is best suited for range work. Let's see. The arbitrary system sounds like New Jersey. Yeah, you're not wrong, Greg. There's a bunch of ridiculous arbitrary crap in Massachusetts where like uh so the Attorney General has a list of approved pistols that it's ridiculous. It's like it's completely subjective. It's almost like it's similar to, but from what I understand, even more ridiculous than California's approved roster, in that there's no guidelines to guarantee your product gets through it. So like smaller companies that sell maybe 500 guns a year or 1,000 guns a year, they won't even bother. They're like, I'm not going to lose. I think you have to submit 2 or 3 guns to be destroyed as part of that. They're like, I'm not going to destroy it. And it's especially the case with limited edition guns. Like my unicorn pistol, right, is a Beretta Bilenium. It's super mega unobtainium right now. And when they came out, I was like, oh my god, I want one. They were like $1,000 or $999 in like the mid 2000s, I want to say. It's a single action only, all steel M9. It's very similar to the 92X Performance right now. The difference being it had a carbon fiber grip on it and a fish scaling serrations on the slide. It looked really, really cool. But there's no way Beretta was going to take a gun they only made 1,000 of and destroy 3 of them, you know? Let's scroll back up. Trump Bucks equals DDM V9. Nice. Dano Defense. Very nice. Very nice. AK versus AR for End of the World, Matthew's opinion asks. In America, the AR. In a third world country, the AK. Purely for the logistics involved in finding replacement components or whatever. Because without that stuff, you're realistically, if you're running like, let's say you grab a Valmet, you're like, I want to have a Valmet. That's my end of the world gun. The Valmet will run great. It'll run phenomenal. You probably will never have a problem with it. But if you do, the odds of you ever finding a replacement part for your Valmet are like slim to none. I mean, there's literally no such thing as a police department or military agency in the United States that runs the Valmet, right? If you had a PSA AR, right, something you bought for like nothing more or less, uh, you could find a select fire upper, in an armory, or you could trade for it or whatever in our hypothetical post-apocalyptic scenario, and you could definitely find components for it and get that thing back and running with a quickness. Let's see. Sweet, I just bought a 14.5 inch from T91 Tactical. Nice, and good to hear, Eddie. That thing's really, really, really nice. I don't know if they'll make a Gen 2. I hope so. That's cool. I thought the only thing that was lacking from the T91s that were imported, the Wolf A 1-uppers, was the fact that they were missing like some of the modularity that makes the AR so popular. Brew Daddy, greetings from near Eugene, Oregon. I heard Palestol is so awesome it cures COVID-19. So fun fact, I'm drinking hops right now. Hops 9. I'm pretty sure that stuff is like incredibly toxic, and if I were, I would either be projectile vomiting or be coming out the other end. What are the worst anti-gun arguments? So the two that get me, right? The one that is, well, statistically, you're more likely to shoot a loved one in your home or yourself than a bad guy breaking in. So those statistics are so bullshit, and the reason they're so bullshit is because they're based on, or they incorporate rather, suicide numbers into it. So yeah, that's not an honest portrayal of gun use in the house at all. I mean, the kind of person who buys a gun to kill themselves isn't like, I was on the fence between living like a regular American, raising a family, and being a productive member of society, and pulling a Kurt Cobain. Although, fun fact, Kurt Cobain didn't kill himself, but you get the point. Uh, the other one is that if you have a firearm in the house, that an intruder is going to grab it from you, and now they've got a gun and you're dead. And my response is, if the intruder is strong enough to wrestle a firearm away from you, they're probably strong enough to beat you to death with their bare hands. And the majority of people who are home invaders do not break into your house with nothing. They're not like, it's not like you've got the juggernaut, Kool-Aid man blasting through one of your walls and he's like, "Oh yeah, gonna break into this house. Oh yeah." I don't know why I just became Macho Man Randy Savage, but 180 degrees. Um, but yeah, no, it's they're gonna have like a tire iron, a knife, or a gun, right? And if I'm gonna be cornered in my house against an attacker, I don't want to sit there and be like, "All right, let's go. Queensberry rules. Put up your dukes, you ne'er do well." Like, no, I'm gonna say, "Get the fuck out of my house." And if his response is, "Run at you with a knife, run at you with a tire iron, or shoot at me," then I'm gonna shoot him back. I Ideally, this never occurs. This is a hypothetical, but I mean, why would you ever want to, for lack of a better term, cuck yourself by restricting your ability to realistically win a fight that could very well be a life or death scenario in your own home, where you will very realistically have no means of escape or ability to flee, right? It makes zero sense whatsoever. I think the other one I've heard is something like, what's it called? Like, if you got a concealed carry license, then you're gonna be a vigilante, walking around the streets at night like the Punisher, being like, "I smell criminals," and then you're gonna see something happening, you're gonna try to intervene. Then another concealed carrier is gonna think that you're a bad guy, or a cop's gonna see you think you're bad. He's gonna shoot you dead because you had a gun. Like, I don't, and maybe one of you guys can find an example somewhere out there, but I have never heard of that. And I think realistically, if some dude is rattling off an AK into a crowd, and a cop, for whatever reason, who isn't already shooting at that guy or getting ready to shoot that guy, sees a guy take out a J-frame revolver or whatever the hell he has to shoot that guy, he's not going to be like, "Oh man, they must be in cohorts." No, he's going to be like, "Oh, that guy's going to shoot him." Now, does that mean it's gonna end up like like a buddy cop film or Tango and Cash, where you're gonna bro fist one another and be like, "Let's do this"? No, probably not. But realistically, you're not just gonna get like domed by some cop. Although, I mean, I guess anything's possible. I mean, then again, I guess by that metric, Christ himself could descend from the heavens and melt the enemy's a gun and be like, "No," and just throw him into the abyss. But I think equally likely. But getting back to the comments, let's see. Wow, these things are moving quick. You guys are active. Long stroke gas piston. You say PWS? I see Sir Gas Mask there flexing on all the pores, as he says. Thoughts on 308 AK, Sega, and Vepr? Legit battle rifles or range toys? I think they're pretty legit. I mean, they're not demonstrably less accurate than other like real battle rifles, so to speak. I mean, with the exception of maybe like AR-10s, SR-25 pattern rifles are a lot more accurate, obviously, but they're also, I mean, it kind of comes with territory. It's a direct impingement rifle. But if you're comparing them to something more, more apples to apples, like an FAL or a G3 or a SETME, then yeah, they're definitely on par. I mean, I've got a 54R Vepr, and I like it. I love it. It's a badass gun. How accurate is it? I don't think I've ever actually taken that and actually taken it to the range and been like, all right, I'm gonna bench rest this thing and shoot it. I know that I've hit man-sized silhouettes with it out to 500 yards. And it's sufficient with a primary arms. Trying to see if I can see it up on my wall somewhere. Which this might be the last live stream before I move to the new burst review bunker, so to speak. The wife and I are refinishing a 800 and something square foot garage into my new office, which is going to be sick. I'm hoping I can get tactical walls to build me a wall to mount all my guns on, because that would be sweet. Maybe I can get like a neon sign with the burst of UR. That'd be pretty legit. But yeah, no, I think to get back to the question, I think yeah, the 308 big bore AKs are definitely legitimate tools for sure, and they're built on a proven system. They run great. Oh, I scrolled too far up. There we go. So I remember when piston ARs were a big fad. Glad that one passed. Yeah, Hornet, you're not wrong. I mean, I think for suppressed fully automatic weapons, there's a very real need for something that's not DI. But one of the big complaints that I saw, other than like you get a lot of malfunctions when you're running a suppressed AR, a standard direct impingement one, is that you get a lot of gas blowback. But stuff like the PRI gas buster charging handle, which I don't have like an affiliate link or like that, but their charging handle works awesome. Like you can go nose to charging handle on like a 7-inch AR suppressed with that thing installed. Perfect. I've had similar, but not it's not quite as effective as the Radiant Weapons Raptor. That's a very nice, very ergonomic charging handle. It's a little expensive, but it's nice. Let's see. Speaking of piston ARs, thoughts on the Carcal Car 816? I've not shot it. I want to. I really want to. But I haven't shot it yet. Ready or not, my PSA 6.5 Grendel doesn't like the wolf stuff as much these days. Not sure why. Still case for AKs, everything else. That's strange because the one that I shot out in Wyoming at a High Bar Homestead, which is like an old, I think it's a Surefire or Magpul or both, like shooting area. It's awesome. It's like 1,000 acres of like rugged terrain you can shoot on, and the 12.5-inch 6.5 Grendel PSA pistol is awesome, like surprisingly accurate. I mean, I grabbed it because literally nobody else grabbed it, and I was you guys can't see behind the scenes, but Will can attest, and so can my wife, that when I'm at like shooting events, I'm that guy that never shuts up. If you listen to a lot of other people's videos out there and like shooting events, if I'm there, you'll hear me. I never shut up. I'm always like, because I'm so interested in what some of these reps are talking about, and I want to know, straight from the horse's mouth. I'm like, what are your opinions? You work with these guns every day. What can you tell me and stuff like that? Initially they're like, oh, is this guy trying to get like a gotcha moment on me? And I'm like, no, I genuinely want to know. And if some of these guys want to tell me something off the books, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I just want to know from my own knowledge, and then I can just tell other people and not necessarily tell them who told me. You know what I mean? Um, but oh yeah, nice. I didn't realize that already or not that the ballistics of the 12.565 Grendel upper are better than a 20-inch 5.56 upper. That's badass. I didn't realize that. I really want to try to hunt deer with it. Although I think my next deer gun, I've got I think it's a 12-inch, 12.5-inch barrel, 308 Galil pistol, a Galil Ace pistol that IWI sent me, or IMI, whatever the hell they're called now. And that thing's awesome. Holy shit, is that thing loud? It is just ridiculous. It is beyond uncomfortable. It's like somebody with like high school band level cymbals like up in your ear, just being like bam, 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 but like combined with like the meatiest subwoofer from like someone's super riced out Civic you've ever seen. It like shakes your soul with every trigger pull. It's pretty badass. Would I want to spend an afternoon at an indoor range with it? God no. But for taking like one or two mid to close range shots on a deer, yeah, it's freaking perfect. Have I considered doing an IDF build of your AR-15 SBR? I have not actually. I'm not even sure what goes into it. I mean, I assume like a Mepro red dot or some such, but other than that, I don't even know. I almost want to get a bottle of Hops 9, says Shazaran. Take the label off, glue onto a fake bottle, and drink it in public or at the range. That would be so. Shaz, what you got to do is get something that won't actually damage your firearms, like iced tea would work, right? Put a little bit on one of your guns, and then give yourself a little like in your mouth, like rinse with it, spit it on the ground. Just have somebody next to you being like, "Oh my god, what the hell?" Let's see. Thoughts on the new Type 56 PSA and the clones? I'm excited. I'm excited that they're actually going to have new production. They're not perfect, right? They're not going to be, but they're also, the price reflects that. And I think for guys who want that hooded front sight with the spiker, they want it to look like a Chinese AK. That's awesome. I think I saw in some of the photos too that there was a side rail on the Type 56, which initially I was like, it's lame, but I'm like, if I want to be able to use my AK like for serious work, so to speak, that it's kind of badass to be able to have that option. Now, it'd be really cool if PSA offered it both with and without the rail. That would be pretty slick. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know. The burst cave. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. How do I win that gun 100%? Easy, easy. You have to be lucky. um, so I mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. If you guys want that, the Sig MCX Virtus that I had in the photos and everything else, AmmoLand is going to be doing a giveaway in the next couple of weeks. The literally the gun that I took a photo of is the gun we're sending out. It comes with a Sig Romeo 3, I want to say. They sent it to my FFL. I photographed it. I didn't even shoot it because I was like, you know what? Because we're thinking about doing like a review on it, but I've got a very similar Virtus like already. It's in 5.56. That one's in 300 blackout. And I figured, you know what? Rather than sully a brand new gun, let's just run this one, and then whoever wins it gets a new inbox Sig MCX Virtus. That's a really cool gun, and very very comfortable. Really impressed with how lightweight and well balanced it is with that like it's almost, the brace reminds me of like a hook brace or whatever, but I believe it's actually made by SP Tactical. Like a lot of braces that Sig makes right now are SP Tactical braces. They are re-stamped as OEM, but they're made by SP Tactical. The guys at SP Tactical are really really good dudes, and yeah, they make very nice product for sure. Hey man, our cat died yesterday. My fiance is really sad about it. Would you give us our condolences to cheer her up? All right, Tutu, what is your cat's name? And it better not start with the letter N. And I'm sorry, man. That sucks when you lose a pet. That's brutal. My dog Peanut is like my bro. I love that stupid dog. And if everyone can tell you from the Discord, I literally just put photos of that dog in completely inappropriate places. People be talking about like, "Oh man, I really like this shotgun, that shotgun. What's your favorite shotgun?" I'm like, "I like my dog." And they're like, "Thanks, jackass." Uh, Davis, I get that reference, Davis. It's not a very PC name for anything anymore nowadays. All right, so to do R.I.P. Zuko. You were a badass cat, and you will be missed. Have fun in cat heaven, doing whatever cats love to do. I've never owned a cat, so I don't know. But presumably, absolutely slaughtering mice. Rip. Matthew's opinion: thinking about a Mini 14 or Mini 30 or SKS over an AR AK. I'm more used to hunting rifle sights. Worried about height over bore sights. Thoughts? It's really not that much of a difference. You'd be surprised. So like, yes, the height over bore is different on an AR versus like a Mini or like an SKS, but the very linear layout of an AR makes it like a null point. And if you're really concerned about it, get the shortest stock that you can comfortably shoulder and run it nose to charging handle, and then your eye is going to just completely take that rear diopter and it'll vanish. And so it'll be as natural as just looking at the front sight post. I mean, conversely, you can always put an optic on it, like a magnified optic or whatever, and it works great. Uh, There we go. Big Venus, you play video games. Check out the Resident Evil 2 video I made, and I think that's pretty evident. That or the PUBG video I made for TFB. I play an embarrassingly large amount of video games. Well, I did since the AmmoLand job. Not really. I've been playing occasionally with some of the guys in the Discord, but that's it. I've been playing the greatest Battlefield game ever made, Battlefield Bad Company 2. If you guys are not familiar, that's fine. Not everybody has good taste, but I'm a big fan. Uh, get an Ares SCR. Yeah, that's true, Maka Kid. I asked Ares to send me one for a review like years ago. I think at one point even under the banner of Guns and Ammo, 'cause I used to write for them. Well, Firearm News, Handguns Magazine, Rifle Shooter Magazine. So they're subsidiaries of Guns and Ammo, but not actually Guns and Ammo. And yeah, they were like, yeah, we'll get you one. Ghosted me. I was like, rip. Black Sweet just popped in to say congrats on the job. Thank you, Black Sweet. Appreciate it, dude. It definitely definitely could not have come at a better time with our our kid very very soon going to be with us. A being gainfully employed is a nice change of pace, I must say. We can't all be Brazilianaires like my buddy Will, who literally makes all the shekels. Let's see. Do you like cars? I do. I'm not super into cars like I used to be as a kid. I still think my favorite car of all time is the one my dad and I worked on when I was a wee little youngster. We used to work on, and by work on I mean I changed the oil and the spark plugs on, and that's about it. I also had help with some detailing work, but it was a '63 Stingray Corvette, and that thing, oh, so freaking good. It's like just so muscle car, so American. American. The thing I really liked about that car was the amount of freaking torque it had. The thing that I hated about that car, how much understeer. Holy crap, that car. Do not take a turn at 30 or 40 miles an hour on like slick pavement or like a parking garage. Sounds like you're in like a 70s chase scene. It's just like skirt the entire time. Oh, great. What does your hydro flask say? I don't even know I have a hydro flask. I'm not sure. Oh. So this is actually my wife's, but it's a Star Wars one. It says, "May the Force be with you." The other one I had was a Vault 111. I like that one. It's pretty neat. I have a Silencer Co. one somewhere, but my wife stole it, so I'm stuck with these. Let's see. Yeah, God, EA, where is Bad Company 3? Yeah, dude. I don't know if you guys ever read anything about Bad Company 3, or like they were the next Battlefield was going to be Bad Company 3, and they just canned it because they don't know anything about it. Uh, it's basically they said they have no idea why Bad Company 2 was successful, but which is kind of insane. Gosh, PSA is sort of almost all their uppers. They should have stocked up. Yeah, they are moving stuff so fast. So when I was talking to one of the owners, the only products that they're not moving with like a super super quickness right now are their lowers. So if you've had your eye on one for a while, just grab it. I mean, they're going to be there for now. I mean, who knows what the future will bring? But if you've got a couple of uppers kicking around, I have the opposite problem. I have like 6 lowers. I have no plans for. But yeah, definitely. Constantly being paid. What's that? Yeah, dude, you have no idea. Being a freelancer is fun. It's not profitable. If you had to arm your former anti-gun family members for sudden shit at the fan, would you go AR, AK, SKS, bolt action, etc.? Something manually operated or an AR, I think. Manually operated for safety, AR for just like here, point, shoot. Put a crappy red dot on it, call it a day. Any info on Jim Fuller's new project rather? Sorry. No, not yet. I'm not familiar with what he's working on, though. I wish I was. Kaulen says, with rifles such as the BR-180 and the SIG MCX capable of working with AR-15 lowers, do you think we will see more non-AR-15 uppers such as the K2? I hope so. That'd be cool. I'd love to see some Daewoo action going on here. That'd be really nice. Fight Light MXR, which can change barrels from 10. Oh wow. Is that Fight Light? I thought that was I thought somebody else made it. It was called like a Hydra or something like that. But that's pretty cool though. Let's see. Punisher Flask could be awesome indeed. See, Radio Nut says it's odd during 2012. Sandy Hook, even lowers couldn't be found. Yeah. Well, I think that's just like that's market saturation. I think, ready. So like I think people bought. I mean, lowers were going for like crazy amounts of money. Like I sold a Bushmaster pre-Wyndham weaponry A2 lower. It's just a standard lower, right, with A2 furniture on it. Uh, During the first panic to some guy for $700, and I had no intention of selling it. I had sold the H bar upper for it because I just didn't have a need for it. Mostly I was trying to get more ammo instead of the actual upper. And some guy saw me at the gun show with the lower, and he was like, "I'll give you 750 for that lower." I was like, "It's yours. Have fun." Let's see. Depends on where you live. Most pistol best. What would it be better to get a PSA AK-556 or a Galil Ace? If they were priced the same, I'd get the Galil every single time. Um, I think the Glio is built better. I think it's more reliable. Realistically, my experience with 5.56 AKs has not been a good one. I've had a lot of problems reliability wise. The magazines are not terribly affordable. I like that the Glio Ace uses Stanags. That's pretty badass. I do think that Israeli weapons are pretty overpriced for sure. 10, 5.56, 10.5 inch. Gimmicky or useful? Jacob asks. I think they're still useful. I think they're pretty sweet. I think that's the absolute minimum barrel length I would ever invest with in a 5.56 AR. I think anything shorter than that, you're losing so much ballistic efficacy that the gains in maneuverability and the reduction in weight become very questionable. Let's see. Now that's good money for a lower. I saw a Colt 6920 go for 1800. Yeah, the only Colt that I really want to buy right now is I want to get another SP01. My buddy's got one that he's got his registered Lightning link in. That's what you guys have seen me shoot before. Really cool. After shooting that Vietnam era style 1960s AR, and the fact that it works with that Lightning link, I'm like, I need one. So freaking cool. Incredibly light. My God. A7556 Arsenal AK, gorgeous, but finding mags was a pain. Yeah, I agree with that. I think the fact that in the past, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar, but in the past, Arsenal had a long history of kind of just throttling the importation of Bulgarian waffle mags, which was really frustrating. With how and they were priced. There was a guy at one point, and this is gonna show my age, like 2010 or earlier, bought like $1 million worth of waffle pattern magazines, right? And he was selling them out of like a really crappy GeoCities website, and like direct to people, and like he was selling for $20, which tells you that, and that was his retirement plan, by the way, which is kind of cool. But if he was selling them like that for that price, that meant that he was getting them for like $10 or less. And I think, from what I understand, though, at least he got cancer and died, which is unfortunate. But it shows you that Arsenal is just gouging prices, and they have been for like a decade. Now I'm sure they don't really drive their prices up anymore. I think it's kind of like a phenomenon that I've seen in older gun shops. Like you'll go into a gun shop that's like it's got ancient inventory. There's dust on everything, right? And you find some magazines in there that are pre-banned if you live in that kind of state, or just older mags, and they've got like a yellowed or faded price tag on them that seems semi-reasonable. Well, that's because it was priced like that in the 90s. And at that point, it was not reasonable. Like I remember, screw it, I'll call them out. I don't know if they even exist anymore. There's a gun store in Massachusetts called Hunter's Trading Post, and they had awful prices on stuff. I bought my first handgun from them. I bought an Auto Ordnance 1911 from them for like $7.95, which that thing was the biggest piece of shit I've ever bought, hands down. It couldn't get through a whole mag without either a stovepipe or a failure to extract or a double feed. There was always something. I could change the magazines, I could change the extractor, didn't do shit. Something about that gun, it was cursed, right? Finally got it to an old Korean War armorer who was actually pretty funny. He got it to work just fine, and then later on when I gave it to a guy named Eddie Mitchell, used to be rest in peace, old buddy. He was a World War II vet, and there's an awesome story about him shooting at Japanese mortar teams off of a PT boat with a Springfield rifle. Uh, they're on an island and he's on the boat at like 4,000 or 5,000 yards, and they're taking pot shots at the mortar teams. And it's all good and fun until the heavy machine gunners on the shore start laying down bursts of fire, just obliterate their boat. Thank God, by a miracle, they all get home alive. But this guy, super soft spoken, never curses in his entire life. Well, not since he was an adult, I guess, so to speak. And I told him how bad this gun was, and he's like, "I can't be that bad, Jimmy." And he's very New England. He used to work at Smith & Wesson for like 40 years, right? Um, he actually helped develop the ammunition for the Wetworks projects rather, for like Skunkworks, or not Skunkworks, for the CIA and stuff, and for like SOG back in Vietnam. So like the Hush Puppy ammo, and like the subsonic ammo for like the Smith & Wesson 76s, those SMGs. And him and as he quoted him, Danny Wesson would go out into a field, and Danny Wesson would lay in the grass and he would shoot bursts of suppressed fucking submachine gun fire above his head, and that's how they tested how audible the suppressor was. Like, I don't know how those guys move with brass balls that big, but anyway, so Eddie takes this 1911 and he racks it like 3 or 4 times, pulls the trigger, and it's got this awful like 12-pound mass compliant single action trigger, and he goes, "What a piece of shit!" Like, not a drop of of sarcasm or like humor to it. Like, he's just disgusted. He's like, ugh, and he got that gun just running beautifully. Uh, did all kinds of custom work for it, for me on it, in exchange for me painting one of his fences and mowing his lawn for him a few times. I had no expectation of getting anything from him from doing it. I just, he was at the time like a 92-year-old World War II vet who was having trouble in the South Carolina heat, doing yard work, and I was like, yeah, of course I'll help you. Really, really good dude, and I hope he's up in heaven right now, still punching out the X on bullseye targets with his 1911s. But super good dude. But yeah, when he got that thing running, it finally was half decent. But like that place, Hunter's Trading Post, getting back to my original thought, I remember finding M1 carbine mags, pre-ban 30s, right, for like $25 in like 2002 or three, and I saw I think they had 5 in stock, and I bought all of them. And the guy behind the counter was like, $25. Shit. Like, you could tell he was like, oh, he should have been priced triple that, and but I picked those up, and I just that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like, you get these places out there that will just price things just stratospherically, just ridiculous. And there is some wisdom to keeping in mind, though. A lot of times, like, yesterday's bargains or high prices are today's bargains, kind of thing. Like, I was telling this to one of the guys in the Discord, if you find something that's a little bit high priced right now, but it's something that's not made domestically, or is something like, like Sig has a long and awful history, unfortunately, of discontinuing their coolest products. If you see something you really want, you're a few bucks short of it, like, save a little bit and just buy it, because I mean, guns hold their value very, very well for the most part. And if nothing else, you can always horse trade for something else, down the line. But there are so many things out there that, like, I was like, I should have bought that when it was cheaper. Like back when PSLs were like $500. Yeah, that would have been a smoking deal now. I mean, even adjusted for inflation, it's still not that much of a difference. Let's see. Fun fact: mandatory carry. Sorry, I went on such a long tangent. Working on my duty gear while I listen. Hell yeah, brother. You'll still see SGLs on Gunbroker, brand new. Yeah, they're way too expensive what they are. I've got a pair of SGLs, a 21 and a 31, and I wish. Speaking of, like, wish I had spent more money back in the day, is I really wish I had bought the folding stock variants of both. But at the time, they were like an extra $200, and I just started a new job, and I just did not have the money. Have modern semi-automatic shotguns, says Michael Pereira. Viper 12 Tavor 12 gauge loaded with self-defense ammo in terms of reliability make a better choice than pumps for self-defense. Provided that you have ran them enough to know they run well, yes. I have seen more people like catastrophically jam a pump action shotgun by short stroking than I've seen people with a well-tuned automatic shotgun have issues. Now, that said, if you have like an off-the-shelf Sega 12, if they even exist anymore, or like what is it, JTS 12, whatever the hell that weird Academy brand from China is, and you try to run like the crappiest bird shot you can find, yeah, that's you're gonna have a bad time. I will go back to that Benelli. If you're looking for a shotgun that will run anything and make you feel like a badass, that thing. Because I was just out earlier today. I was out there shooting it in my my range in my backyard, and the only 12 gauge ammo I had on hand that wasn't either buckshot or slugs, 3-inch goose loads, the Magnum ones, which are just brutal. And I was doing hammered pairs with that gun with an 18.5-inch barrel. I was like, hell yeah! I'm either getting swole or this gun's freaking magic. Probably not the swole part. Let's see. Sportsman's Guide has stuff too. Oh, very cool, VT. Sportsman's Guides is interesting. They don't tend to gouge like Cheaper Than Dirt, which I like, and they occasionally have some really neat surplus stuff. I really wish I had bought some of their UN vests. They had these like late 90s giant shoulder pad Kevlar vest or flak vest, I think actually even. That was really cool. Cal Landis. Stoner was still kicking. Would he redesign the air buffer tube to not be inside the stock? I don't know. And I think anybody who purports to know what Eugene Stoner would do nowadays is a charlatan. Yeah, shots fired, Ian. Actually, I think Ian's approach was much better. I think Carl's approach looks like Ian taking pity on his Quasimodo sidekick. Let's see. Good night, Jacqueline. Ready or not, with the anti-CCP sentiment building, you think we'll see more optics manufacturers build back in the USA? I'd like that. That would be really freaking cool. I would definitely like that. Let's see. I can't stand pre-ban shit. The ban is over. They aren't worth anything extra. I wish you were right, Shaz. I really did. Let's see. Your pre-ban Mac 90 is not worth $3,000. No, it's absolutely not. And you can still get Mac 90s for like around $1,000 if you look around, especially the ones. And pardon my ignorance. I'm not super familiar with the Chinese ones. I mean, I know what they look like, but I forget the nomenclature for the ones that have the thumbhole stock versus the traditional flat receiver with pistol grip and the laminated stock they normally have on the more Type 56, Type 57 style ones rather. Very cool though. Nice HyperX headset. Yeah, I like it a lot. I broke my last one. Through pure stupidity. I didn't rage quit and throw it. I might have rolled over part of it with my seat like a moron. I love my Benelli M2. Yeah, I think the Benelli M2 is a hell of a value. I really do. I think if you're like looking to get into Benelli shotguns and you don't have $2,000 in disposable income, like most people don't, it's a hell of a shotgun. Wolf Hornet said my uncle had one of those AR-style shotguns from Turkey. It choked on every other shell of cheap buckshot and had to stomp on the charging handle to clear itself. So, fun fact, the only gun I've ever shot that I thought was inherently dangerous was a Turkish magazine-fed shotgun. So, wife and I, this was like a year or two ago, we were doing some photos with the shotgun for Firearm News. I was doing a review on it, and I had the AR carry handle on it for whatever reason. And I was holding, or it's not even a real AR carry, it's their polymer crappy one, and it has a bolt release like an AR, right? So I removed the magazine, I bubble load one into the chamber, and drop the bolt on it, right? Because you don't want to ease the bolt into place; it might not go into battery. So my wife Kay is 30 degrees to my right, and about 5 to 10 feet, right? And the shotgun's aimed downrange because it's a fucking gun. And I close the bolt, and she's spray painting a target, by the way. I close the bolt, and it just goes boom. It slam fires the fucking round. It was 95 degrees in August, right? I was freezing cold. The look my wife gave me, I was more afraid of her. I felt like I needed that shotgun at that moment. Like she turns around and she's like, "Motherfucker, you better be kidding me." And not even in that kind of words. Far, far harsher. And I'm sitting there. I've got the shotgun by the carry handle. I'm like, I didn't touch the controls, and the gun's on safe, right? And I was just like, for all I know, in the course of firing, the firing pin got lodged forward in the channel on the bolt. I don't know, but any gun that can literally discharge without you touching the trigger, yeah, it's a hard pass. Benelli M4 Tavor 12 gauge. They're very different, Michael. End of the world kind of thing. I think the Benelli has a much better reputation for reliability. I've only shot the Tavor at SHOT Show, so I couldn't tell you any more than that. Matthew said I inherited a Maverick 88 with only one pump arm. Should I be worried about breaking? Just buy a pump arm. They're cheap. Unless you mean it can only accommodate one pump arm, in which case I wouldn't worry about it. They're still solid guns. I mean, the overwhelming majority of pump action shotguns function fine with one arm for like decades. Like Ithaca, Winchester, Remington, one pump arm for a very long time. They were fine. Would it be feasible to go to Canada, get a citizenship, buy a Canadian firearms license, and buy a Type 81? It would, but then you'd be Canadian. and then you'd have to, yeah, the bring back the U.S. part, no, not so much. I'm pretty sure now. I think you can legally travel with it to the United States for like competition, but that's you have to come back. I think if you don't, the Mounties let their biggest, angriest moose run a train on you. Uh, that might be hyperbole. Well, it's interesting, Greg. So you can actually, I think, once a gun resides in a a country rather, for I think it's 10 or 15 years, it becomes de facto of that country. I think in terms of like importation restrictions. So technically, if somebody wanted to stockpile a bunch of Type 81s in Canada for like 20 years and then import them to the US, they could. But the amount of money involved, you could just build a factory stateside and build them. Let's say Benelli's so sweet you'll feel like an action hero shooting it. Dude, you're not even wrong. I was shooting I was clearing my plate rack you've seen me shoot before in some of the videos with those 3-inch Goose Magnums, and like I was able to keep the gun on target, and I was like, oh damn, that's incredible. Let's see, too expensive though. Stoker's out $700. I didn't realize Stokers were that expensive, but if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the Stokers are made in the same factory as Benelli, although I may be mistaken. Um, Only fate worse than being Canadian citizens being an English subject. Big facts. Uh, let's see. I'll take the burden of being Canadian if anyone wants a Norinco gun. Lamal. He's not the hero we deserve. It's the hero we need, right? Uh, let's see. I blank Canadian gun laws. Yeah, they're pretty garbage, unfortunately. Uh, yeah, for sure. Especially because like there's just so many like Canada used to be so cool, and then eh. Do you think the IWI AR-15 will be anything special? No. I there are so many companies that are like making ARs now that it's just like eh. The company that I will absolutely give credit to though is Springfield Armory for their Saint. Not because the Saint is anything special. It's not. The fact that they were able to convince that many people that it was blows my mind. Like whoever is their marketing guy deserves like a fat raise and like a yacht because that dude has made them millions. Like when I heard the Saint was being released, my reaction was, like why on earth would I pay extra money for a gun that is functionally identical to another gun that's like a third the price? Evidently, I'm an idiot, and everybody wanted to have that gun. Let's see. Think about this whole pistol red dot movement is going to the future and getting into it. The Masada, Glock, thoughts. Um, I'm not a huge fan of red dots on handguns. I can run them just fine. My issue is I have thousands and thousands of hours of muscle memory of bringing the gun up to my eye and with the iron sights perfectly lined up with my sight line, and the red dot is above that. And so like I've noticed that especially when I'm on like on the timer or on the clock, whatever, in a competition or whatever, and I'm trying to like go from a low ready or a holster to get on target, I'm always low, always, because I'm looking at the iron sights, which are almost always actually obscured by the red dot, and I'm like, oh. And so it's counterintuitive. Now after a couple of repetitions, it gets better, but like under pressure, I default back to that same hold every time. It's kind of frustrating. Is 7.62 by 25 still worth buying? It's very fun to shoot. It's not like I. All right, I don't want to completely BS you, so I'm gonna go and quickly Google what's it called 7.62 by 25 prices right now, Togorov ammo, because I have no idea what it's going for right now. One-handed typing, based. I mean, it looks like I'm seeing it at SG Ammo, which is if you guys have never shopped at SG Ammo, and this is not like a paid plug. I've bought a lot of ammo from them in the past. They've got sealed Czech ammo from the 50s for 31 cents a round, so $250 for a case of 800. Yeah. Now what I don't know is if that check ammo is submachine gun like pressure levels. It very well might be. So if you've got a CZ52, should be fine. A TT33, I don't know. Let's see. G36. Do you think it'll come to the U.S.? It doesn't need to because Tommy Built Tactical is selling them for pretty much exactly what H&K would sell them for. If HK ever actually decided to take their, is it SL8, whatever it's called, that like that weird like ban friendly G36, which eh. Radio Not says people are saying that IWI needs an excuse for tooling to build Tavors and maybe other IWIs. It might be, very well could be. What's your opinion on pin and welding suppressors for overall length? Ooh, I would yeah no for the MCX and the MPX, there are so many good pistol braces out there right now that are not facsimiles of, but a pretty close approximation of something that could be potentially shoulder fired, hypothetically. I would just go with a brace, to be honest. That way you don't have to worry about traveling with it, and there's no $200 tax stamp, there's no waiting. Just get the brace. Even if you really want the stock, you like the look on the stock, I wouldn't pin well. Just spend the $200, $200. I mean, if you can afford an MCX and a suppressor, you can afford $200. Don't buy the shit surplus Tokarev ammo. It's terrible. Oof, that sucks. I'm still working on it. So I bought 2 cases of the 2,160 rounds, or no, 1,200 something round. Tokarev corrosive ammo, like '07, and I haven't burned it up yet. I mean, the reason is not because I don't shoot a lot, but I did for a while. But I mean, the issue with 7.6225 out of a 7-round mag and a Tokarev or 8-round mag, whatever the hell it is you can only shoot 7 rounds at a time so quickly. And for a long time, I only had 1 mag, and so like I could only burn through the ammo so quickly. Let's see. How happy are dealers to clear out the key mod? Hey man, my MPX has a key mod rail because when I bought it, that's what it came with. I don't think key mod's terrible. I think the availability of components for key mod right now is pretty bad compared. Wolf Hornet said he deadass ordered a can of Wolf 223 from SGM on the 14th. Just got it today. Nice. Right. Let's see. On Black Friday, I bought from Academy some of their Monarch 5.56, which I think is actually just rebranded Tula, and that's worked very well in the Galil I have. Oh, I think I'm getting a 0 audio right now. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Hopefully you can. Anyway. And anyway, so yeah, and that works fine. Right before all the panic stuff set in, I went and purchased. Yeah. Oh, good, you can. Good. I purchased some 9mm ammo from Academy. I think I bought a 1,000 round case of just crappy. Well, not actually crappy. I was gonna buy Monarch 9mm steel case because I was like, it's cheap, but it was like $15 more or $25 more total to get Winchester 115 Full Metal Jacket. I was like, yeah, let's just get the brass case stuff. Because I mean at the time it was like people hadn't really began to panic buy yet, but it was the writing was on the wall, and I was like, I think we're gonna go nuts and buy a bunch of crap. So about 1,000 rounds. Like 2 days later, Academy store shelves completely barren. And I was like, oh, that was close. That would have sucked. Because like right as that whole thing happened, I was in the middle of writing an article on my favorite pistol caliber carbines / large format like pseudo subguns, and the majority of which were chambered in 9mm. And I think at that moment I was down to like 300 rounds of ammo, and I was like, yeah, I need to restock. But hold on for a second. Let's see. Boop. But yeah, no. It was it definitely could have very well have been a catastrophic situation. But I mean, what's funny is that I heard a bunch of people were complaining about like or worried about like I don't have enough ammo for whatever in case stuff kicks off and it goes crazy. But I was very fortunate in that in that I had a ton of 5.45, 7.39, and oddly enough, like 1,500 rounds of 308. So I mean, I guess I was gonna kick it off like it was the 1950s and run nothing but a battle rifle, but whatever, is what it is. Uh, let's say FNH, if you're still here, go ahead and kick that banana guy, cause I'm trying to. There we go. But anyway, but yeah, no, it's I really, 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 really liked it, and I was hoping that that I wouldn't have to burn through all my 308 ammo. So, but I mean, it's not so bad if I had to. I mean, it's been sitting there for a while. The majority of which, so when I did that 1,000 round G3, or sorry, the set me, or what do they call that thing? Uh, the Century Arms C308. That's what it's called. So the 1,000 round test on the torches on the 308. I was like, hey DSA, you want to send me a FAL, Voyager? Let's do the same test. And I had set up like an article to do it, and all of a sudden the article fell through, and some other panic buy happened, and I just like I couldn't do it. I just like and that and the DSA FAL didn't show up for like a year, and that wasn't their fault. It was my fault 'cause I didn't follow up on it. But yeah, no, it was I just had a ton of it, and then I was like, oh, okay, and then nothing ever. It hurts me that these companies were. It was very very kind of them to send me the ammo, but they sent me a bunch of match grade ammo, and I couldn't do a torture test of 1,000 rounds of match grade ammo into the dirt. The PTR 91 is a badass gun. I think PTR makes great products. I still have the 9CT. I think I'm up to like 3,000 rounds fired through it. Really, 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 really liked it. Very, very cool. Um, shoot, it's actually I've got a SP Tactical collapsible brace on it right now, and an Innovative Arms Lex 9mm suppressor on it, and that's my bedside gun I have. Well, that's my bedside gun, and then on my wife's side, she's got the MPX you saw from the other videos I had. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, the 8.5 inch MPX pistols are like unobtainium now. They're gone. I saw one of the editors over at AmmoLand was talking to me earlier today. He was trying to find one to buy one, and they don't exist. They're gone. I think his theory was that when SIG missed out on the SMG contract with the military, they had produced a ton of those short 4.5 inch barrel Rattler barrels, and they just they don't want to make any more barrels until they've basically cleared out that. Uh, whether that's true or not, I don't know. What I can tell you though is that SIG has a long history of discontinuing really cool products and making parts for them unobtainium, which is really obnoxious. Is the 9CT compatible with other MP5 clones? Yes, for the most part. I believe that it's got the shelf, so you can't. No, no, I lied. It has the proper shelf. You can put a trigger pack in there if you have a registered one. I really like that gun. Nice, Sound of Silence. Good to hear, man. Two of the AmmoLand guys are in Florida. They're surviving with you there in Florida stand. Absolutely hate SIG USA for making things for a short time and discontinuing. Like, yeah, it drives me nuts. Like I had a SIG 556 Commando I bought from CDNN, which is also great company. If you guys have never been there before, it used to be CDNN Investments. They used to be a direct to dealer seller only. Now they sell to individuals, but you have to obviously ship to FFL. But they sell discontinued products. So if something from SIG is like instantly discontinued for whatever reason, check there. You can often get a smoking deal on it. Let's see. Thoughts on primary arms? I haven't actually run the 1x8 M2. It was here. I think I put it on something. I've been playing with the Cyclops recently. The Prismatic 1X. Really digging that optic so far. Very very cool. Let's see. There are at least 3 generations of P320 that are not documented. Yeah, I've got a Gen 1, which apparently means if I throw it, I can clear a room. At Jim, your Patreon link is going to PayPal. Weird. That might be accurate. Because I think my wife set up a PayPal me link in there. If not, if you just Patreon, I think it's Patreon/Burst Review. That'll pull up too. Um, which full disclosure, if you're thinking about donating, I will tell you in advance that I have not done a podcast in a while. So, I don't want you thinking that you're gonna get in for like the mother load of content and then not get it. I have been unbelievably busy, and I assume with a child coming along in the next few weeks, that level of busyness is going to be just over the top. Sound of Science Cyclops is the shit for the money. It's hard to beat. Yeah, I really like how it's a reflex sight that doesn't require power. I think that's freaking awesome. I really, really like that. So like it's like the perfect like apocalypse end of the world optic where like you can't find batteries. Doesn't matter. It's got etched glass. It still functions as a red dot. And what's interesting is that where people are like, oh, but it's prismatic, so it's gonna have magnification. It actually really doesn't. It's you have to adjust the diopter to your eyesight, but once it's dialed in, you got yourself a perfect, like super stupid clear, little red dot. Who's getting the beer flu vaccine when it comes out? Bill Gates. I almost said Beer Gates is gonna chip us like mutts. Yeah, dude. Have you seen the stuff where like Bill Gates himself doesn't vaccinate his children? What is it? What's it called? An assassin doesn't drink his own poison. Congrats. Hey, I appreciate silence. I appreciate it. The wife and I are very excited. It's our first, and it's definitely going to be a roller coaster for sure. This job could not have come at a better time, so I'm very excited for it. Where do I stand on Forex versus red dot plus magnifier versus like LPVO for 16-inch AR? I see. For me, I think I think somewhere in between is ideal. I haven't really tested it yet. Hypothetically, I really want to get my hands on that new fixed 2x scope from Primary Arms and try that out. Because I think it'll give you just enough magnification that you can get better target verification. Um, if money was not an option or an issue, I would heavily suggest the Elcan Spectre DR. That is a badass optic, but my God, is that thing expensive? Thing is really, 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 really nice. That thing is great. Super clear, basically bomb proof, but you could almost certainly buy another high end Gucci AR for the price of the optic alone. I don't know what they run right now. Let's see. What is it? Let's see. I guess armament.com. That's not as bad as I thought it was. The 1 to 4 is the 1/4, pardon me, is $1,700, which really isn't terrible. Oh, that's cool. They make oh no, okay. So 762. I thought they were saying it was 76239. I was like, really? That is badass. No, it's 762s and 308. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I hadn't seen any of the used L cans. I've got the Spectre DR 1.4 and the Spectre DR 1.56. Love those things, and they play very very well with a PVS 14. Although everywhere tells me that I shouldn't mount a PVS 14 on a weapon system because it'll eventually destroy the tubes inside of it, which could very well be the case. And since I don't own the PVS 14 that I have access to, I'm not going to keep doing that. But I really like the optics. I additionally am quite a big fan of the VCOG. That's really nice as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Black Suite for sure. If you guys know a good source for used L-cans, because I mean that's one of the good things about the L-can. Whoever had it before you, there's like no chance they broke that optic. I mean, unless they literally were dragging it behind a Humvee across cobblestone roads for like a couple miles, it's fine. Galil Ace is a bit overgassed, but still a solid. Yeah, agreed. It's very overgassed. Uh, Gosh. So when you suppress that 12-inch 308 Galil Ace, right? The amount of gas blowback in your face will like knock your hat off you. It's pretty brutal. I mean, I use those what's it called, those Gator like eye jacket style sunglasses that I have the same pair I've had for like 10 years now, and there's like almost no space between my eye and the glasses, and it like makes me blink every time. Have I played with thermal scopes? Yes, I have limited experience with some of the FLIR optics and some of the thermions. I was very impressed with the thermion scopes for the price. They're still not cheap though. I mean, cheap thermal is relative. It's like saying I got a good deal on a new Porsche. Yeah, you might have, but it's still going to be it's a freaking Porsche. It's going to cost a lot of money. I think if I had to choose between a thermal and like an IR optic, like PVS-14, I think a PVS-14 is a better investment. Because I feel like the thermal is great for target, like locating the target, finding your target, but for positive target identification, you're gonna need a night vision scope or like a super bright light, which kind of defeats the purpose of either. Uh, but yeah, no, definitely. Well, I think since I am an old man and getting tired, I am gonna call it a night. But I'm gonna try to be on next week if you guys are interested. And by all means, if you want to win that MCX Virtus, stay tuned to AmmoLand.com. And if you're not subscribed, I'm sure all of you are because you're all cool guys with smoking hot supermodel girlfriends like me, that you obviously are subscribed. That's how you're so cool. But no, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who donated today. I really do appreciate the super chats. Mean a lot. It's almost exclusively going to go to like baby wipes and diapers and all kinds of fun stuff. But you guys have a great weekend. I am going to go finish the cigar I started earlier and drink some Whistle Pig. But good night, good luck, and Godspeed. Take care, guys.